Hi everyone, Kira Foy, registered nutritionist. I'm back here today to talk to you about gluten and is this a new weight loss, fad diet? And I get this question all the time. So I know how hard it is out there trying to figure out what should I do and what should I not do. So let's talk about gluten. Gluten is something that I have found in my practice doesn't work well for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. I do not believe that gluten-free is a new fad or a new weight loss diet. It's really about people being more aware of how they feel and figuring out that, when I eat gluten, when I eat these, white crusty breads, or, when I eat pasta, I feel full and I feel bloated and I get tired and I just downright feel yucky. And not feeling good is the opposite of what we want for you. We want you to feel good. You should feel energized after you eat your food. You should feel satisfied. You should feel like you've done something amazing for yourself. And so with taking gluten out, is that a good thing? You know what? For a lot of people, it is. No one, nutrition principle works for everybody, but certainly I have seen, probably 90% of people feel way better when they're on a gluten-free diet. The really important thing when it comes to being gluten-free is that you have to understand that you can't just trade that white, yummy, crusty bread for a gluten-free option, because a lot of those gluten-free options that are, rice breads or cookies or crackers or these types of things, when they're still in a box and they still have a million ingredients and a whole bunch of processing to make that item, it's not going to help you lose weight. And it's not going to help your digestion, and it's not going to help you feel good. So, when you're taking gluten out of your diet, it really doesn't have to be something that, you have to feel like you're depriving yourself. There are amazing grains that don't contain gluten, and one of those is quinoa. We've already spoken about that, and it's been offered to you in a few different recipes in the nutrition guide, and that is a fabulous grain that is gluten-free. Another great grain that is gluten-free is buckwheat, which is amazing too. And it is something that, even though it says buckwheat, a lot of people think it has wheat, it is actually gluten-free. I tend to choose a lot of starchy vegetables to replace, what I would be taking in from a carbohydrate perspective when it comes to grains and breads and things like that. So I always try to choose things that just naturally don't contain gluten. So I choose squash, and I choose beets, and I choose sweet potatoes, and lots of fruits and vegetables and all of those types of things. And when you're swapping out processed breads and pastas and crackers for whole foods that are full of nutrients, that is only going to help you and is going to make you feel good. The other really great thing about going gluten-free is that gluten has been shown to cause a lot of inflammation in our body. And inflammation is the root cause of many degenerative diseases. And so we don't want inflammation. We know that if you have, for example, Crohn's, you're more likely to get colon cancer, and that's because you always have inflammation in that area. So anything that we can do to reduce inflammation, reduce our processed foods, reduce gluten, and we'll be talking about other subjects like dairy and how that is also inflammatory, is really important. So at the end of the day, is gluten-free a new fad diet? I don't think so. I think it can be a fabulous choice, and it can really help to improve your health and make you feel great and get rid of the bloat and really help your digestion. And the other thing is, I think it's also good for people who don't necessarily have those problems, who think that they do great on wheat and gluten and they're not worried about that. It can still be hugely beneficial because you're reducing inflammation in your body, and that's always a good thing. So that's our take on it. We think that, you know, gluten-free is not a fad, but it can be something that's a healthy way to improve your digestion and your health.